Welcome to Ravenheart 2024. Now I am joined by filmmaker Adrienne Seet, who have made the short film GONG. Welcome.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you for having me.
So, Seet is a film that abstractly uses dance to express characters' emotions and the story. Tell us a bit more about you chose dance.
A lot of the short films that I've written, they have no dialogue actually, and that's because I'm kind of fascinated by the ability of the body to speak and to tell stories and well, I want to make films in the fantasy genre, and at the same time, my mentor, Hisham Zaman, is my mentor. He told me, your scripts are not like for first time film directors. They're a little bit too complicated to produce, and you require more days than you have in a way.
More days, more resources.
Yeah, more days, more resources. So he advised me to write another script, uh, something that can be shot in one weekend, indoors, because that time it was January when we met, and he said indoors, not out in the cold, and you have full control over the lighting and stuff. So I was like, okay. And then weekend I just sat down to write immediately the script for Gong. And I confirmed with the actress Christiana, like, okay, are you available in February around this time? And then I asked the actor, are you available? And I was like, okay, we are set. And because I know the location and I know the people who own the location, they are very happy to let me borrow it for free. And I just thought, what can I do that can fit into the fantasy genre that is, a bit magical, a little bit quirky, and show a little bit of my style. And I immediately in my head, the picture came across that I see a couple dancing on top of the table. And as I was speaking to Hisham, I was like, all the pictures kept rolling into my head, like how the whole film is gonna be. And I was like, yeah, okay, it can be like this and this. So I went back home and I just immediately wrote the script, and then I knew, okay, no dialogue, because he told me that as well, no dialogue. I was like, okay. And then I just like made the film, and because I myself have taken tango lessons, so I know very well tango is actually a dance of equality. It's not the man just leading the woman. The woman has to decide whether she wants the man to lead her. Like, if the man like leads her a certain way and she doesn't like it, she will just you can just stay there and twirl your feet, and then it's indicating you, no, I don't want to go that direction. And then the guy has to decide, has to think, okay, I have to come up with a plan, like which direction would please her. And that is, I think, a lot to do with what a relationship is like. It describes a relationship very much. And I think the films that I want to make, and this is actually my first film, and I think the films that I want to make are a lot about equality for the genders. Like, I'm very like occupied with the idea that women should be able to say what they want as well, and not play a docile role, or in especially in film, because I've been working in film for many years. It's very important for me to show that in my films. Yeah,
I more read this as a story of opposites attract. She's a bit punky, he's very strict, so it's kind of so I read it in my background that this was that they're effectuated by each other because they're so different.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
It's quite a complex matter, like why people are attracted to each other. But I think it's like, in my story at least, she's attracted to him because, yes, because they are very different. So she finds him fascinating. But at the same time, it's like he represents a person that is she's familiar with in her life. Like, for example, her father or her brother, and she grew up wanting to rebel that kind of person, but at the same time is attracted because it's
yeah.
familiar. So
Something you recognize.
yeah.
Speaking of the production of the film itself,
Yes.
how did you do it with the dancing? Because the dancing, how much choreo? Were the two actors dancers themselves?
No.
So how did
They
you
were my friends. Yeah, they were not dancers. So we actually met only once before the actual filming, to go through the choreography, and also I coached them a little bit about what I know in tango, moves, and we practiced a little bit in a room, and I kind of like sent them lots of tango videos that I thought would help them. And they did a lot of homework as well. So that was only like 3 days before the filming. So they only had 3 days to also discuss with each other. Okay, how are we gonna do this? And then all I told them was very loose, like very abstract. Actually, I told them like, because I like improvisation as well. So I told them like, look, all I want is that you show the emotion that you were having a good time, and then you were like, you were dancing, like really having fun, and then suddenly something changes, and then you have to kind of find a move, or make a move that make you feel like something is not going well, like something subtly is changing. And then it's like, then he starts doing this, then I told him, then he starts doing this and this, and with the scarf and blah blah. We didn't actually rehearse because I didn't want it to be too jaded. I wanted it to be a bit fresh. We actually also improvised a little bit on the set. We gave them about maybe 20 minutes. Yeah, we set up the lights and everything, and then they were just practicing on the table, and then so it was not much choreography. It was not pretty much. It was pretty much the actors who found after maybe the first 5 moves, they kind of we improvised everything together.
I see.
Yeah.
So how was the reaction on your short been?
I think it has been really. I mean, those who have seen it, I think they really like it. I mean, they kept saying like, oh, wow, I was totally absorbed into the emotion and the whole story, and they're like, wow, what an ending. So I was like, oh, okay, yeah. And I never really thought of it as a dance movie, because in my head it's a fantasy film.
Yeah, it's fantasy film.
But the first title I had for it was the working title was actually Tango. But then I changed it because it was like, you can tell that they are not professional dancers, so I didn't want to put the pressure on them and say like, oh, this is a tango movie, and then everybody comes expecting like professional tango dancers. So I kind of said like, my editor, who is also my husband, for one day, he
Congratulations.
thank you. We just got married yesterday. He said like, no, let's change the title to something more interesting. So he said, why don't you call it GONG, which is the
GONG, yeah.
Gong, yes. And he said because it rhymes with gone. And then I was like, yeah, that's a cool title. So I changed it while we were editing the film. Yeah.
So if you want to know more about your movies, where can people go, or your work?
I'm sending it to more festivals now.
Yeah.
So most likely it will appear in more festivals, and eventually it will be available online. But right now I'm going through the festival route first, and then I'll see where it will appear later. Yeah. It's all a bit mysterious right now. Yeah.
Adrienne, thank you so much for coming
Thank
in.
you.
Thank you for being able to screen your film, and best of luck in the future.
Thank you for choosing my film. Thank you.
Welcome.
Yeah.